sure you have noticed it is costing a little more to fill up lately, a lot more in some spots. Gas prices in Arizona jumped more than 30 cents in just a week. Tensions in the Middle East push oil prices higher. So joining us now, we've got Doug Johnson with AAA to break down what's driving all of this and what you can expect when you head out. Doug, this is hitting at a pretty tough time for the average American. I mean, this is right when spring break hits. So we're looking at gas prices that are so high. What's going on? What can we attribute this all to?
Well, honestly, it's supply and demand, right? Anytime you have oil, it's all part of a global market. So anytime the oil supply is impacted anywhere in the world, it affects you here at the pump at back at home. So, of course, the United States, we don't get our oil from Iran. We do get a lot of oil from the Persian Gulf, though, of course, and the Strait of Hormuz is not exactly open. A lot of oil backing up there. But even though we don't get our oil from Iran, China and India do. So when they can't get any of their oil from Iran, they have to go to the same sources that we go to. So supply is definitely impacted, and that means you're going to be paying more at the pump.
And let's talk about how much of a rise we have seen just in the last week. Can you break down the numbers for us?
Yeah, in Arizona, the average for a gallon of regular gasoline has jumped 57 cents in just 1 week. And here's an even scarier number. Diesel has actually jumped 98 cents in just a week. So you imagine all those trucks delivering all that food, all those products. Eventually, that cost is gonna come down to the consumers.
Yes, that's what we're worried about because it really does have a trickle down effect. Do we expect that number to rise in the weeks to come? What are you guys predicting?
We don't predict at AAA. We
Yeah.
certainly do not predict the future. And in fact, if you go to right before this conflict started, we were saying, and our numbers were showing, the gas was cheaper this year than it was at this time last year. But having said that, the longer this conflict continues, you probably should expect these prices to stay high. But if you look at the market, just look at what the price of crude oil was doing yesterday. I mean, it was doing a roller coaster. So it's really we don't predict the future.
Yes. I wish that you could, though, because I got a spring break trip coming up and my car takes diesel, gosh darn it. We're talking that big of a jump. That is unbelievable. So, are there simple ways that drivers can save? Real things that we can do right now? Are there certain days where we can expect cheaper prices at the pump? Anything that you can kind of give us?
Yeah, absolutely. There's things you could do, especially before you're taking a trip for spring break. If you go to our app, AAA's app, you can track gas prices not only in your neighborhood, but where you're traveling to. And here's the big thing, where you're traveling through. Let's say you're going to Las Vegas from Phoenix, it might be cheaper to fill up in Kingman. So you can pay attention to what the gas prices are along your route. Another thing, just avoid speeding. Most cars, their fuel economy peaks at about 50 miles per hour. Then it drops off as the speed increases. So if you drive the recommended speed limit, you can increase fuel economy between 7 and 14%. Another thing is to check your tire pressure. If you have better tire pressure, you're having less friction with the road, so it's easier to move your car. You're using less gas that way. This goes without saying, but you avoid idling. Don't run the air conditioning when you're parked in the parking lot. Maybe roll down your windows. I know it's in the 90s there in Arizona, but if you can, go into a coffee shop to wait. And then just plan your trips. Use navigation apps like Google Maps to do all your errands in one trip and do it when it's not during rush hour.
All right, the latest exactly from the source. AAA, thank you so much for your time this morning. Let's hope, fingers crossed, that those numbers go in the direction that we like, and that is down. Doug, thank you. Let's now get